Publishers dropped them, readers ignored them, critics scoffed. Yet today, these 10 books are legends of fantasy, science fiction, and horror. How did they go from failure to forever favorites? Let's find out. I'm Jim. This is Fantasy for the Ages, the show that I do with my son Zach, covering fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things in between. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss future deep dives like the one I have for you today. And if you'd like to support what we do here, Patreon is the best way. Thank you to all of our amazing Patreon supporters who help keep this channel alive and thriving. A link to our Patreon page is down in the show notes, along with all the other ways you can connect with my son and I. So we've already got 3 other episodes covering 30 amazing books from fantasy, sci-fi, and horror that were flops, but went on to be famous. 10 more for you today in our 4th episode in the series, and let's just dive in. There are some shocking books here that you may never have realized were complete failures up front. Our first book is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, the 1818 publication. Both a horror and science fiction novel way ahead of its time, it's a standalone. A brilliant young scientist creates life, only to abandon it and suffer the vengeance of his monstrous offspring. This is a meditation on creation, isolation, and hubris. Initially, this was published anonymously because a woman wrote it, and no one would have believed that. It was also dismissed as a dreadful romance, but there's so much more to it. Shelley's novel is now credited with founding both modern horror and science fiction. Foundational. You've never read it? Fix that. You'll thank me later. Number 2 on today's list is Dracula, Bram Stoker's 1897 novel. This is horror, of course, and is a standalone. Perhaps surprising with how much it's inspired since, but yeah, this one's by itself. Count Dracula travels from Transylvania to England, spreading terror and infection while a small group bands together to stop him. Told through letters and journals, it redefined fear. Modest sales and mixed reviews came with it upon release, but over time, it birthed an entire subgenre and made the vampire a permanent cultural icon. Our third novel? Believe it or not, this was a failure at first. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, his 1937 fantasy novel, which is the introduction to Middle-earth, and basically a prequel to the Lord of the Rings trilogy that would come out nearly 20 years later. Reluctant homebody Bilbo Baggins joins a company of dwarves and a wizard to reclaim treasure guarded by a dragon, discovering courage, luck, and the One Ring. Originally, this was marketed as a children's curiosity. The publishers clearly did not know what they were holding. It took years of steady sales and word of mouth before it became the classic that launched modern fantasy. Number 4 today is The Once and Future King by T.H. White, 1958 fantasy novel in the Arthurian style. It's a collected series of 4 books. A modern retelling of Arthurian legend from Arthur's boyhood to his tragic end. This is infused with wit, melancholy, and moral reflection. It was overlooked on publication and criticized for its length and its tone. Posthumous praise and Disney's Sword in the Stone adaptation cemented its legacy. Our 5th choice today was really surprising to me that it failed at first. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, her 1976 gothic horror novel and book 1 of the Vampire Chronicles. The immortal Lewis recounts his life of love, loss, and moral torment under the shadow of the charismatic vampire Lestat. Initially, it was panned by critics and dismissed as decadent. It later became a bestseller after paperback reissue and film adaptation ignited the vampire renaissance. I can understand the decadence complaint, but this story is just incredible. Number 6, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, 2001 urban fantasy and mythic fiction mashup, book 1 of the American Gods series. Ex-convict Shadow becomes bodyguard to the mysterious Mr. Wednesday in a cross-country war between old gods and new. Despite early awards, sales and reader response were originally muted, but over time, reprints, a devoted fan base, and a TV adaptation elevated this to a modern classic. Our 7th novel here is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, 1959 psychological horror, a standalone novel, and I don't care what they say, indeed, a masterpiece. 4 people investigate a possibly haunted mansion where reality and madness intertwine. The house itself might be alive. This book was underappreciated at first and sold poorly, but is now regarded as one of the greatest haunted house novels ever written. I read this in the past year, reviewed it on the channel. It's absolutely amazing. Number 8 today is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, her 1985 dystopian science fiction novel and book 1 of the Handmaid's Tale series. In the theocratic Republic of Gilead, women are stripped of identity and used for reproduction. Offred struggles to remember who she was and survive who she's become. This book was met with discomfort and controversy on release, but decades later became a global phenomenon through adaptation and political resonance. Our 9th book today is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, the 2007 fantasy novel and book 1 of the Kingkiller Chronicle. Musician and arcanist Kvoth recounts his life's rise and fall, from orphaned street thief to legend, myth, and exile. There were slow sales and muted early marketing here. People weren't quite sure what this was doing here, what it was about, but it turned into runaway success through word of mouth, making it a cornerstone of 21st century fantasy. That's how I found it, word of mouth. Jim, you have to read this, from so many people. And they were right. Our final book for today is The Road by Cormac McCarthy, 2006 post-apocalyptic fiction and a standalone novel. A father and son journey through the ashes of a dead world, clinging to love, memory, and the fragile idea of goodness. Initially, this book was just too bleak for mainstream readers, but it went on to win the Pulitzer and is now considered a modern classic of both literary and speculative fiction. Talk about comebacks. From Frankenstein's anonymous debut to The Road's late-life recognition, these 10 books prove that genius is not always understood right away. Which of these do you think deserved success from day one? And which ones only make sense in hindsight? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Next time, in episode 5, we wrap it all up with a final 10 titles, books that were nearly lost forever before the world finally realized their brilliance. Until then, keep reading, keep imagining, and remember, every failure has the potential to become legend. We'll talk to you next time.